This episode is sponsored by ExpressVPN and by Manscaped.
Back in the day, the surefire way to get out of going to school and also risk serious prison time was to just call in a bomb threat. Can't take an exam if your school's completely locked down while police investigate a terroristic threat.
And back in the 70s and 80s and the first half of the 90s, people were like, just a bunch of rambunctious teens.
Boys will be boys.
Nothing like that would ever really happen.
Yeah. Or if, jail time and terrorism charges aren't your thing, you could always just pull the fire alarm by yourself 45 minutes or so. And that kind of thing, obviously a terrible idea for obvious reasons. And you should really just suck it up and go to class and do your work.
Sure.
But then again, no one's really going to class or going to school right now. Most learning is happening remotely, which, yes, it sounds awful. The idea of sitting on Zoom 8 hours a day trying to pay attention and not lose your mind sounds like a real bad time. And if you're in that situation right now, we really do feel sorry for you.
Now, you do say that people aren't going to class or to school, but reality, Elliot, it says that something different is happening. You see, what's happening in America right now is that everyone's going to school and to class for 1 week before an outbreak happens, and either teachers die or the entire student body gets sick, and then they're like, all right, fine, you proved your point, coronavirus. We'll go home.
We'll do remote learning now that we've completely defeated the purpose of remote learning by putting you all in the same room.
Yeah. Now, as much as remote learning sucks, it's for a very good reason, and it'll be over at some point. You definitely shouldn't do what a Florida teen allegedly did last week, which is launch multiple cyber attacks against his school district to prevent virtual classes from happening. The unnamed 16-year-old is accused of orchestrating at least 8 of the over 24 cyber attacks that took down the Miami-Dade school district servers for the first 3 days back at school. This was done via DDoS, or distributed denial of service, which is basically a way to send abnormally high amounts of traffic to a website or online service to overload it so no one can get into it.
Yeah. So
the low orbital ion cannon straight at the Miami-Dade school district.
That's literally what he did.
Yeah.
So this kid must be some sort of cyber genius, right?
No.
Some tech whiz. No, apparently not so much. The tool that he admitted to using, low orbit ion cannon, or LOIC, L-O-I-C, I don't know. It's easy to get a hold of, has been for a while, and it was described to the Miami Herald by a cybersecurity expert as, it's a point-and-click program. You don't have to have a great degree of sophistication to launch it.
No.
LOIC was notorious 10 years ago for being a tool used by hackers in some pretty major DDoS attacks, but the only reason it worked in 2020 was apparently because the school district's cybersecurity just sucks.
Yeah, of course it does.
The cybersecurity expert that talked to the newspaper said, it's really easy to prevent. The school must be really out of date on their router configuration.
And why wouldn't they be? It's a fucking school district. You think they give a shit about cyber? Oh, what is someone going to do? Log in and change their grades? Well, I guess they're smart enough to graduate high school in Florida anyway.
Yeah.
Good.
Also, our nation's public school districts notoriously flush with cash to invest in future-proofing their computer systems.
Exactly. Listen, this has been a case with basically every cyber attack that we've ever talked about on here. It's totally preventable. The school just didn't invest in proper cybersecurity. But wait, hold on. What was that about this kid being responsible for at least 8 out of the over 24 DDoS attacks? Well, in addition to the LOIC attacks that were traced back to the student who was arrested, law enforcement also traced attacks to IP addresses in various other countries. And they believe those attacks may have been purchased on the dark web. Anyways, whether or not this kid in particular was also responsible for those supposed dark web attacks, he still faces a felony charge. Zero Cool is not going to be able to use a computer for a very long time. And the whole incident, it attracted the attention of the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and Senator Marco Rubio.
Low Marco.
Well, I guess we can let him go because it's a case of boys being boys. So yeah, he's probably at least in some serious trouble that could follow him for a while.
Yeah, not really worth it for getting 3 days off of school.
Yeah, he's 16 though. He'll probably be fine.
But on the other hand, what a legend.
Absolute legend. Yeah, I mean 15 years ago, this was like a link that would go around on 4chan. Like, hey, we're going to take down this Scientology website.
Yeah.
Everyone log in so they don't know who did it.
Yeah. Anyway, meanwhile, the Miami-Dade School District's remote learning plan was already steeped in some controversy even before those attacks, because the platform they went with, My School Online, is the product of a company called K-12, whose investors include a guy whose financial crimes Trump recently pardoned, and also Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos. So Seems kind of like self-dealing.
Yeah.
But whatever. The My School Online, they were chosen as the district's learning platform through a no-bid $15 million contract that thankfully was apparently never actually fully executed because it was missing one signature. So they haven't paid anything yet. And I say thankfully because it apparently is not a very good platform. From the Miami Herald.
K-12's platform has driven students, teachers, and parents near tears. Teachers and students have had trouble seeing and hearing each other on the platform's video chat feature called New Row. Classes and their content have been deleted. Users have been booted from the program, and students have been falsely marked as no-shows. The district's nearly 20,000 teachers sat through over a week of K-12 training to learn My School Online. The training, they said, had little hands-on learning. Teachers did not get access to their platform until the end of last week and spent the weekend training each other ahead of an already surreal first day of school. Teachers, students, and parents have taken to social media to express anger and frustration with the platform.
So yeah, anyway, in the wake of those cyber attacks, the district, they just moved all their classes to Microsoft Teams and Zoom, at least temporarily.
It works.
And yeah, things have gone a lot more smoothly. Try DDoSing Microsoft.
Yeah,
Going to be a little bit harder.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah. So yeah, the DDoS attacks, they may have been a brief blessing in disguise, but again, you still probably shouldn't try anything like that on your school district servers because it's really not worth it.
No, I mean...
You will be a legend, though.
Absolutely a legend. This kid will, all he was doing was simply exposing the pre-existing security flaws.
Yeah, this is all white hat, really.
Yeah. Really, he was saving the teachers, parents, and students a lot of grief further down the line. Imagine doing the whole semester and then losing all that schoolwork.
He was just pen testing.
Yeah, it was, dare I say, a service to his country. I won't say that legally. I'll just think it and not say it out loud.
But anyways, moving on now. The whole reason for the remote learning nightmare that a lot of you are dealing with and that most of this country's students and teachers are dealing with is, of course, COVID-19, the virus that the U.S. just can't seem to beat.
We tried nothing, and it didn't work.
Yeah, can't seem to lick them.
Yeah.
If only we had known just how tough this virus is. Okay, well, to be fair, some people knew. Scientists.
Doctors.
Other country, the entire nation of China and Italy, weeks before us.
Yeah.
But also, apparently, a guy who, despite knowing, spent the next several months downplaying it, the president. Here's a February 7th recording of a discussion between President Donald Trump and writer Bob Woodward.
And so what was President Xi saying yesterday?
Well, we were talking mostly about the virus, and I think he's going to have it in good shape, but it's a very tricky situation.
Indeed,
it goes through air, Bob. That's always tougher than the touch. The touch, you don't have to touch things, right? But the air, you just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. People don't realize we lose 25,000, 30,000 people a year here. Who would ever think that, right?
I know. It's
pretty amazing. And then I say, well, is that the same thing?
This
is more deadly. This is 5 per, this is 5% versus 1% and less than 1%. So this is deadly stuff.
If what I was saying was so bad, why didn't Bob do anything about it? I love that excuse.
Yeah. Bob Woodward has gotten a lot of flack for not releasing this, but it's just it wouldn't have made a difference.
Look, here's the problem. Anyone with a half a fucking brain knew the president knew that he was lying.
Yeah, I'm the only alternative is that no one in the White House was telling him the virus was bad. That's obviously not what fucking happened.
He clearly knew it was bad and chose to do exactly the opposite of what he should have done.
Yeah. You can't plead ignorance when you are the president of the United States.
They hand me the papers and, there was a lot of words all over it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Going back to the audio, though, February 7th, it was, of course, a full month before things actually started getting serious here in the United States. And there's the president talking about how serious of a threat the virus is. Now, here's another audio clip from Bob Woodward talking to the president on March 19th when lockdown efforts had recently begun in some parts of the country.
Now it's turning out it's not just old people, Bob. Just today and yesterday, some startling facts came out. It's not just older
yeah, exactly.
young people, to plenty of young people.
So
what's going on
give me a moment of talking to somebody, going through this with Fauci or somebody who kind of, it caused a pivot in your mind, because it's clear just from what's on the public record, that you went through a pivot on this to, oh my God, the gravity is almost inexplicable and unexplainable.
Well, I think, Bob, really, to be honest with you,
Sure, I want you to.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes,
because I don't want to create a panic.
So yeah, it's not really surprising that Trump was aware of how bad the situation was becoming. It's just crazy to hear him say it out loud, since around this same time he was publicly downplaying everything and continued to downplay everything until, what's today? The 10th? The 11th? Now!
Yeah, right this
yes,
second.
Exactly. He never really stopped downplaying it, and now that at least 191,000 people are dead and countless more people are dealing with serious post-COVID health problems, we're kind of just in the same position we've been in.
Yeah.
And
Who
tomorrow,
knew viruses could be so deadly dangerous.
Friday of this week, as we all know, the big anniversary of Ted Cruz looking at pornography on Twitter.
Yeah.
And the other thing,
Yeah, that other thing. What else happened on 9/11? I don't know. It was a
we
long
hit
time ago.
92,000 dead in this country.
Anyways, on the bright side, though, we do have a vaccine dropping any day now, right? Well,
Yeah.
despite the president saying that it could be here in just a few weeks, trials for the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine were actually put on hold recently due to an adverse reaction that one study participant had, which AstraZeneca later revealed to be a rare spinal inflammation called transverse myelitis. Sounds like that person will be okay, but it's a great reminder of why developing vaccines takes a while and why rushing the whole process is a bad idea. The current stage of the AstraZeneca trials involves just 543 participants, and while one serious complication out of 543 seems small, those are good odds, it would obviously be a lot more people if you gave the current vaccine to hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah.
And it would also cause a lot of people to be like, no, I'm good. No vaccine for me.
Yeah, well, people were like on Twitter, just like, oh, you see, they're trying to rush it through, and this is what happens. It's like, well, this is exactly what should happen.
Yeah, this is how it's
They
supposed
stopped,
to go.
and they were like, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
So that actually made me feel more comfortable about the development
and
process.
This is how drug trials go.
Yeah.
Like, they do the trials.
To find problems like this.
Yeah, like if you sign up as a participant in a medical trial, like you are assuming risk.
Yeah. No. Whenever I try to learn something, if I can't get it right the first time, I give up.
Yeah.
That's how learning works, right? Mm-hmm. Anyways, it would still be great if we got a safe vaccine within the next few months. Of course it would, especially considering that the International Olympic Committee announced earlier this week that those 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo that never ended up happening, they are going to be going forward in the summer of 2021, regardless of whether COVID-19 is still around. Sounds like another fun thing to look out for. IOC Vice President John Coates said on Monday, it will take place with or without COVID. The games will start July 23rd next year. And he also said, now very much these will be the games that conquered COVID, the light at the end of the tunnel.
There's some hubris in those in that statement that I am not a fan of.
No.
That is a statement asking to be contradicted by fate.
I will say, though, the NBA has done a fantastic job of showing that sports can exist within a bubble.
They've done a great job.
Even with all the strip clubs that they visited.
But also, the NBA's roster, especially the bubble roster, which isn't even the full NBA roster, is tiny compared to how many athletes perform in the Olympic Games.
Still, that's progress, baby.
I guess.
And guess what starts today? Da-da-da-da-da-da! Football! Let's see how long that lasts.
Anyway, look, if it ends up being the light at the end of the tunnel, sounds great. I think pretty much everyone is excited to get back out there and make up for lost time once it's safe to do so. Unless you're one of those assholes who doesn't have any lost time to make up for, because you've been just continuing on as if nothing is wrong. But, we have no way of knowing if it will in fact be safe by next July.
Which is fucking mind-crippling to think about. Just, oh God, please.
And the IOC knows that, hence the with or without COVID thing.
Possibility.
Ideally, a decent portion of the population will be vaccinated by then, and the number of active cases worldwide will be extremely low. But even if that's the case, there's still a huge risk of giving a virus that's been nearly eradicated a really nice second wind by bringing hundreds of thousands of people from around the world to one place and then sending them all back home. So I guess we'll see.
I would imagine the people of Japan are going to be very upset by this.
Yeah, I mean, because like
If they get any time off work, they're going to start protesting.
Yeah, Japan, like they were ready to kick our military out after that naval base outbreak. They're like, "What the fuck, America?"
Well, it's 6 a.m. I got to be at the office.
Yeah.
You guys get out of here and if you're not out of here by 11 p.m. when I get off work,
Yeah.
I'm going to be very angry.
I will be getting shit-faced on the subway on the way home.
Listen, if
So I
you
can see my kid for 5 minutes.
If you piss me off between the hours of 3:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. before I get up and before I get to the office, I'm going to be upset.
I love how they call their office workers salarymen. It's just the most like dystopian term for a worker.
Lick my boot, please.
Salaryman.
Yeah. Anyways, it's sponsor time, baby. And this episode, it's sponsored by ExpressVPN. Fire up a couple of those if you... Never mind. When you use the bathroom, you always close the door behind you, right? You don't want some random passerby looking in on you. So why would you let people look in on you when you go online? Using the internet without ExpressVPN, it's like going to the bathroom and not closing the door.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that if you're going to the bathroom like at school, for example.
Shut up.
You would close the door.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you know that your internet service provider knows every single website you visit?
Even the naughty ones.
And what's worse is they can sell this information to ad companies and tech giants who will use your data to target
He
you.
wants a flashlight.
ExpressVPN puts a stop to all this. It creates a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so that your online activity can't be seen by anyone. We use ExpressVPN on all our devices. It works on everything. Phones, laptops, even routers. So everyone who shares your Wi-Fi can still be protected even if they don't have ExpressVPN.
Hey, are you watching an out-of-market baseball game on my internet? Well, it's okay because you've got ExpressVPN
That's
on.
right.
The best part is, using ExpressVPN, it's as easy as closing that bathroom door. Dare I say easier.
Yeah.
You just fire up the app, you click one button, and you're protected. No touching some weird metal.
Yeah.
ExpressVPN is the world's #1 rated VPN by CNET, Wired, The Verge, and countless others. So if you're like us and you believe your online activity is your business, secure yourself by visiting expressvpn.com/newsday today. Using our exclusive link, expressvpn.com/newsday, you can get an extra 3 months for free. That is expressvpn.com/newsday. Check it out now.
And this episode is sponsored by Manscaped. Do you have a moose near the caboose that needs to be tamed? I'm talking big, hairy, and needs some support. Thankfully, our sponsor today, Manscaped, has you covered to keep the hair looking nice and trimmed and feeling fully supported. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Did you hear that? That's your moose asking for Manscaped.
Moose! Is that what they do?
I don't know.
The Manscaped engineering team just perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created, the Lawnmower 3.0. The premium Lawnmower 3.0, it's waterproof, it has an LED light, and it's made with advanced skin-safe technology which reduces nicks and cuts on your delicates. You can get this trimmer inside the Perfect Package 3.0, which also includes the Manscaped Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop Reviver Ball Toning Spray. They're both super practical and they smell wonderful.
Plus, for a limited time, when you order the Perfect Package kit, you get 2 free gifts, the Shed Travel Bag and the Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs. Those anti-chafing, cooling boxer briefs might be one of my favorite parts of the collection. The Manscaped Boxer Briefs have optimal temperature control with their crop cooling technology while keeping your pride and joy supported. The waistband is also super elastic to reduce chafing and rubbing. Plus, when your special person sees this logo, they'll know that they've got a real Manscaped man on their hands.
There's no forest underneath those boxers. Pair these boxer briefs with their pH balancing liquid products like the Crop Preserver, and you are ready for anything. You need to try this out for yourself. So get 20% off plus free shipping with our code TechNewsDay20, all one word, at manscaped.com. Your balls are going to thank you, and everyone that you know who gets to see that, they're going to say thanks. Unless they didn't ask to see it. Then they might not say thanks. That is manscaped.com, code TechNewsDay20 for 20% off and free shipping. From the moose to the caboose, always use the right tools for the job. All right.
It must be hard coming up with new ad copy down at the Manscaped headquarters every few weeks.
Now they have a blast.
Oh God, my euphemisms. I'm running out. Anyways, back to the news now. Let's check in on that epic battle between Apple and Epic over Apple's 30% commission on all App Store transactions. Last week, Epic asked a judge for a preliminary injunction to force Apple to allow Fortnite back onto the App Store and to restore Epic's Apple developer account, which Apple shut down, and it effectively blocks Epic from developing anything for iOS or macOS. And One pretty interesting tidbit from this filing is that iOS is apparently Fortnite's biggest platform, or at least it was. 116 million registered users, or nearly a third of the 350 million total registered Fortnite users. And since Fortnite was taken off the App Store, daily active users on iOS have dropped by over 60%. So
Wow.
it's I would have never guessed that, but makes sense.
Apple, meanwhile, filed counterclaims against Epic, asking the court to force Epic to pay Apple lost App Store fees, presumably from all those V-Bucks they sold for a few hours without paying the Apple tax of 30%. Apple's also seeking damages for the harm to Apple's reputation that Epic has caused through its very public anti-Apple PR campaign. They made a video. They had one ready to go. Please, Judge.
You can't just let them keep clowning on us.
It's embarrassing. From the filing, quote, Epic's lawsuit is nothing more than a basic disagreement over money. Although Epic portrays itself as a modern corporate Robin Hood, in reality, it is a multi-billion-dollar enterprise that simply wants to pay nothing for the tremendous value it derives from the App Store. Anyways, the first hearings for Epic v. Apple, they're scheduled for September 28th, so we do have that to look forward to.
The whole process is going to take a very long time, though.
Yeah.
Likely. Unless they settle.
It is fun, though, that, I think it's either that day or the day before or after that, Google's flagship mobile and earbuds and all that stuff, the big announcements coming out, people are just going to be like, no thanks, watching this Epic versus Apple battle.
Yeah. Well, who cares about phones anymore?
Yeah, really. Who are you showing your phone to?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Apple's other fight with Facebook that we talked about last week is actually temporarily on hold. That conflict stemmed from the privacy updates to the upcoming iOS 14 that Facebook said would cripple their ad business because the updates severely limit the amount of tracking that Facebook would be able to do without explicitly notifying users. It's pretty funny. Like, look, if you don't let us track everything our users...
We're going to go to business.
Yeah. Anyways, after Facebook had a big old tantrum over their ability to spy on users being slightly more difficult, Apple actually capitulated for now, and they say they won't be implementing these new features into iOS until sometime in 2021, quote, to give developers time to make necessary changes. So it appears that when you're as big as Facebook, you might actually be able to get Apple to flinch. Epic's not quite there yet.
I guess not. But speaking of Facebook, you might not remember this, but when it launched back in 2004, it was specifically for college students. And your social network was actually limited to just other people from your school that used a verified .edu email address. It was actually kind of great, but Facebook, of course, gradually transformed into something much, much larger. Well, 16 years later, and Facebook has come full circle with a new social networking platform, Facebook Campus, which is literally the exact same thing that Facebook was in 2004, but within Facebook.
Yeah.
It's all about getting hot girls' email addresses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to Facebook Campus.
Yeah, next we're going to bring it back to even before Facebook, the prototype. We're bringing back hotornot.com, built directly into Facebook.
Yeah, then rate my poo.
Yeah. So yeah, it's eerily similar. You need an .edu email address to sign up, and like back in 2004, it's limited to a select number of universities with more to roll out in the future. It's got a campus-only newsfeed, campus-only events and groups, a student directory to find your classmates, and chat rooms for dorms, clubs, and so on. Which all sounds kind of great. It's a social media social media platform with a purpose. But at this point, are Zoomers between the ages of 18 and 22 still even using Facebook?
No, they're not.
I mean, I guess some still are, but young people is where Facebook has lost the most ground over the last few years. Zoomers are shifting their attention to Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube, and have been for a very long time.
You think people are finding out about hot new artists like PP Cocaine on Facebook?
Is that real?
Yes.
Jesus.
Everyone's trying to get Ben Shapiro to read the lyrics.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
PP Cocaine.
Hey, check it out sometime, Elliot. I'm sure you'll really like it.
I'm sure I'll hate it. So yeah, will Facebook Campus catch on? I mean, it might at the handful of schools that I guess have an official partnership with Facebook to use Campus. But outside of having to use it, it's hard to see this catching on.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to work.
No.
But let's move on because, hey, we got a gamer flying overhead.
Calling all gamers.
Calling all gamers. Are you ready to become an elite top-tier gamer?
Yes.
Well, chew on this new gum from Razer, and it'll make you better at games or something. I'm not sure we mentioned it, but last year Razer kicked off their line of Respawn products with a powdered drink that was similar to G Fuel, and it was marketed as a, quote, mental performance mix. The marketing for it included a video ad in which various gamers are visibly struggling to win, with some even smashing their controllers and keyboards in frustration, until they each take a huge chug of Respawn energy and immediately start dominating their competition.
Wow, I got to have it. I want my KD to be better.
The term respawn in gaming is just so derivative at this point.
Yeah, and it's also like, Respawn is also tied to a bunch of failed products and initiatives.
Well, and actual
Respawn Entertainment.
Yeah, actual like gaming companies. It's just like, all right,
Is
well,
Respawn Entertainment still around?
Didn't they do Apex Legends?
Yeah, actually, so they came back. They started off kind of shitty, but they came back.
Yeah, but
anyway,
still, it's like
it's a very generic.
There's a lot
term.
of brand confusion here.
Yeah. Anyway, there's now Respawn Gum, developed in partnership with 5Gum.
And Sark.
It's got the package here indicates that it will improve mental focus and reaction time through its ingredients, which are vitamin B5, B6, and B12, plus niacin and green tea extract.
You're just be pissing green.
Yeah. Or black. The sticks are black.
Oh, yeah.
From The Verge, Razer says this gum was developed with an extensive amount of R&D, part of which came from studying the daily regimens, gaming schedules, and snacking habits of casual and pro gamers. If you were turned off by the high amount of caffeine in the drink mix, you might like that the chewing gum's only source of caffeine is from the green tea extract within the recipe. Razer says it wanted to develop a product that can be consumed at any time of day or night to keep gamers focused, but not continuously affect them once the game is over. Interestingly, the gum is black, but Razer's reviewer's guide for the gum made sure to note that it won't turn your mouth black. Good to know. So that, yeah, if you want to get good, there's your gum.
What?
Start just popping that gum.
I miss back in the 90s when whatever you were eating, changing the color of your mouth was actually a bonus in the marketing materials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your mouth's going to be green. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But this, they're like, it's going to make people look hideous if it changes their gums to a different color.
You get on your teeth.
Gamers are already ugly as sin. We don't need to do them any more favors.
Well, they should just make gamer dip.
Yeah.
Like,
like snooze. Take this gamer packet and put it in your lip.
Dip, it's like RGB colors.
Oh, yeah. Big esports chew.
And yeah, you got your official like Razer dip spit cup.
Yeah. Roll it up into your sleeve at all the cool gaming conventions.
Yeah.
Anyways, we should probably mention the fact that Xbox has entered the gaming sphere once again in a very big way with their Xbox X, the Series X, and the Series S.
Yeah, it's very confusing. Like if you're just
both of them have the monthly payment structure.
Yeah, that is pretty nice.
Yeah. $24 a month for the Series S. You get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is like hundreds, if not thousands of games. And you get the console. And then for the Xbox Series X, if you want to do it that way, it's $35 a month and you get the console. And I believe the Series S, it kind of works out. Like they're saying the life cycle of these is going to be 2 years, which I'm not sure I actually believe. But it works out to where like you would probably be saving money if you just leased it like a phone than just buying
long term. No,
not long term. But you upgrade to the next model after 2 years.
Sure, fine. I just like the Series S has great specs, and they're like, this is the downgraded version. I'm like, well, I'm never going to buy an 8K TV because they're a giant scam.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure my eyes are incapable of seeing anything past 60 frames per second.
And it says it runs at like 120 frames per second. So
Yeah.
like, why would you...
The only thing that sucks about
Blu-ray drive on the other one, I guess.
Yeah, the Series S has no disk drive, and the hard drive built in is only like 500 gigs, which that's like 1.5 Call of Duty Warzones.
Like I said, though, it's you can tell that Project X is going to come into play, where you're just going to be streaming games in like 4K, and it's not going to need to actually live on the hard drive. You're going to be using that hard drive for games like Warzone, like a competitive esports kind of vibe.
I don't know. The branding's all very confusing, though. Like there's going to be so many parents.
Also, there's nothing out for it when it comes out.
There's going to be so many parents doing Christmas shopping for their kids, and they're going to accidentally buy their kid like the Xbox One S when the kid asks for like the Xbox Series S or some shit. Because like with PlayStation, it's like, oh, PS4, that's better than PS3. PS5, better than PS4. All right, easy. Even an idiot can get it right. The Xbox is just like, you look at the list of names, you're like, I don't know. I mean, that sounds kind of better than the other one.
What's going to happen is like, box stores like Target and Walmart, Microsoft is going to make them get rid of their old stock, so you can only get these two. But the problem is going to be when you go to whatever GameStops are left, they're going to be like, yeah, but the Xbox One S, it's just as good as the Xbox One Series S.
I'm calling it. There's going to be a lot of sad kids.
And angry parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. That damn Bill Gates. First he's trying to inject me with some kind of microchip.
He's trying to ruin my Christmas.
And now he's ruining my Christmas.
Anyways, before we go, in case you weren't aware, the entire West Coast is on fire right now.
From Washington all the way down to San Diego.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
While for us here in LA, it's just meant disgusting, gloomy skies.
It's yellow outside right now.
Yeah, it's yellow. It looks like Beijing. The air quality is really bad. You don't want to go out. But yeah, small potatoes. Further north, up the entire rest of the coast, it's resulted in some of the most apocalyptic imagery that we've seen since those Australia wildfires 9 months ago. One guy up in San Francisco even cut together a bunch of drone footage that he shot, and he added the Blade Runner 2049 soundtrack, and it fits a little too perfectly.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's apparently the worst wildfire season in California history, and California also has the most toxic air on Earth.
Mother Earth is trying to smother us once again.
My throat is hurting just from talking for the last 20 minutes.
I went on a walk yesterday, and I got back to my apartment and had, within 15 minutes, had a headache.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's just miserable. The one thing that I had left for my mental well-being was going on walks.
Yeah, can't do it.
And now they have had that taken away from me as well.
Yeah. So yeah, and I mean, of course, lots of homes along the entire West Coast are being destroyed.
Yeah.
Millions of acres of land burning. At least 7 people have died so far. And then that's just over here. Over in the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, there's multiple tropical storms forming, looking like they're going to hit land. Mm-hmm. Colorado, parts of Colorado were in the hundreds over the weekend, and then within less than a day, we're covered in snow. Climate change is fucking real, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what else it's gonna take, other than literally the day after tomorrow to happen for you to get that. It's real, and
but like we said the other day, the one good side effect is that it's not hot because we're being smothered by smoke clouds. Mm-hmm. It was not as drastic as Colorado, but LA was supposed to be in the hundreds this week, and it's been 75 because the sun can't penetrate the smoke clouds.
Yeah, it's thanks, I guess.
Yeah, I opened up the window today and was like, huh, it looks like San Francisco did yesterday here in LA today. It looks like someone pee-peed all over the place.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. So stay safe out there, please, and we'll see you real soon. Check out these other recent episodes. Bye-bye.
You can see the cause of the fire over here. We'll see you next time. Bye.